This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Jumbo Jumbo and hello everybody. Welcome to the Masai Mara Game Reserve of Kenya, and we got some zebras and toppies and other animals that want to cross the Mara River. My name is David. Welcome aboard to your very own safari, live from the African bush. Well, if you're going to be very lucky, those are the animals that I'm talking about in this very warm afternoon in the Masai Mara. And I'm talking of 29 degrees and 84 or 84 degrees Fahrenheit. It's quite warm, one of the hottest afternoons we have had here. And if you're lucky, those are the animals that you are going to see come cross this river. I'm sure you can hear the rapids that are just going which indicate that we had some very big rains upstream. Apparently from the village I come from. My name is David. That has not changed. And with me today is Bunge as usual. Bunge, how are you doing, sir? And we're just crossing fingers here that something happens. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, should you have any comments or questions, because you're coming to you live, you're more than welcome to send them through, and you can tweet using hashtag WildEarth. For the youngsters, kids' questions at wildearth.tv. Just give you a couple of seconds to listen to the rapids there, because I enjoy listening to that myself. As we hope these animals will create enough courage to cross this very dangerous river. But for other friends who are also waiting for these zebras to cross, we had early toppies and the wildebeest, and we're just waiting for that one moment when they'll want to plunge and risk their lives coming through the crocodiles that could be laying ambush to them here in the water. It could be anything apart from the reptiles that is waiting for them. Helen, that's a great comment. It's the mountains in the background, you love them. Great comment there, Helen. And cross fingers that we do not lose one zebra, Helen. And if you can see very close to that zebra now, but apparently these crocs here do not get these zebras outside the water. The buoyancy is not very good. They tend to do a better job when they're inside the water, unlike being outside. They're all lined up there, ready to cross the river, but it takes lots of nerves to make that difficult decision. Whoever goes first, the rest will. And patience is very important where we are. The times takes us 10-15 minutes to see them just converge by the riverbank and very quickly even cross. And the times we go for hours and hours without seeing a single one crossing the river. You'd like to know how many zebras cross the river. Now, let me say there's so very many of them, and the migration have lots of these animals. And we got different crossing points along the mile, and it depends on the position you are in. What would happen, for example, this morning, we saw about 15, 20 of them crossing the river. There are times also we see hundreds of them cross the river. So it's very difficult to know how many. It will always depend on the location you are at. You see the croc there just enjoying the sun, and even if those zebras will come so close, she or he will not be bothered to try and catch them. But in the water, they have all the skills needed to bring the zebras down. Great feeling every time I listen to the rapids, as I said before. And not sure if the rapids affect the crossing of these animals. Well, I'm going to wait here a couple of more minutes and cross fingers that something will happen, and we'll see.
Welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Sabi sense. My name is Steve and I'm joined by Paul on camera, and very excited to have you with us. I'm sure you've been introduced to David so far and all the questions, so please jump on board our vehicle. Our objective this afternoon, everybody, is to follow up on Tandy. We left her this morning just up here, and she just kept moving, kept trying to hunt. We didn't see any other animals, but eventually we gave up just due to time and to give her the ability to do so. So we're going to go and check, walking parallel with our eastern boundary, sheet of cut line. And I'm just going to go see, because if she did make a kill, she would go back and get her cub and then bring the cub back to the kill, probably after she's eaten a little bit of it. So, see, there is a track of a leopard before the rain. Not very easy to see. It hasn't rained this morning, so this is possibly her son from yesterday. Abraham, there wasn't a lot of rain. It was just enough rain to get annoyingly uncomfortable. The kind of rain that just messes with the equipment and gets into all the electronics. So it wasn't a really bad rain, but it was just enough to have us put the roofs on and keep the roofs on this afternoon, because it's still quite an ominous sky. Although it says it's 19 degrees Celsius, 62 Fahrenheit, I'm layered up. So yeah, we just removed a tree from the road. I just chopped a tree that was over in the road, and I'm much warmer now than I was before. But other than that, it is quite a fresh afternoon. There's been no solar radiation today. Okay, so what we're looking for is tracks of Thandi going back, because she probably would go back to her. Oh, another tree in the road. I'm not going to move this one now. It is too big. Watch my face. Elephants, elephants, elephants. So we're going to just see if she's come back. We left her north here. If she's come back, she would have gone back to the cub, and then a track going directly back again would be a very good indication of her taking her son to a kill. If she didn't find anything, she'll probably stay out and carry on hunting. Now, I know Kirsty wanted some dwarf mongoose yesterday. I just saw one. We'll see if we can get a dwarf mongoose for you here. There was one a moment ago. It just disappeared into a hole. Now, termite mounds like this one, prime habitat. You can just show them the termite mound here. Well, prime habitat for a band of mongoose. I can hear one. I can't see him though. Oh, here we go. Right here. Little hole there. There we go. Hello, little fellow. There he is. Hello, good day, sir. Welcome live. He's got a little hidey hole where he can disappear if need be. And these little hidey holes are jutted all over the place for them. They quickly take to them when under threat, or obviously when there's signs of predation. Oh, out he comes. He's not too concerned with us. What a wonderful little fellow. There he goes in the road now. There he is. Okay, so dwarf mongoose would also alarm call. Oh, now he's run across the road to another hole. So they definitely do have lots of little hidey holes like that they can run to. Termite mound, all over to Squirrel Away. I think that's where the name Squirrel Away came from. I'm not really sure. But we're going to carry on heading up here and see if we can pick up one of these signs of Thandi and her cub.
Yeah, good luck, Stevovo, because I'm sure, or I think earlier today you had seen the Queen of Djuma. And we also see mongooses here in Marsh, but apparently we see more of the banded mongoose, unlike the dwarf mongoose, as much as both species happen to be here. Now, we've got three species of mammals here. The toppies that you see on your screens there, and the toppies are very similar to what you'd call sesebes, found south of Africa. And we also got the zebras. We also got the wildebeest, and none of them has built enough courage to commit themselves to come and cross this river. They may take hours and hours before that decision is made, but not once they'll stay there and decide, you know what, this is not the day we want to risk our lives. We'll go home and come and try another day. With tourism industry opening up again, see there have just come to witness this spectacle. Now you see that one crocodile there. She is definitely not hiding, laying ambush for a wildebeest or a toppy or a zebra. She's just sunning herself and getting as much, heat for, her body as much as she can from the soil. A zebra would easily come and even step on what she's going to do, they very quickly react and jump in the water. They are not very effective when outside the water, but they know their strength is in the water. So I'll just try and move to another corner and find out, or rather another crossing point, and see if there will be anything different than what we have here, and just chance. Already we're here at the Marsh to show you what's happening, and we have a very big herd of giraffe, or what you call it, a neck of giraffe or a journey of giraffe, and they're all scattered along the marsh. This is perfect habitat for giraffes. As you can see, a lot of lush, tall trees, including short, shrubby trees. This is a fully grown male. What a beauty. Look at him. I would call him, what a gorgeous boy. He's chewing his cud. They always ruminate after filling their first stomach. That's what they do. Amazing eyesight they have, these guys. So where he is, he can see predators from a long way. I was very surprised some days back. Early in the morning, I had a small cat walking on the road, and almost 800 meters away, and he picked up this small guy. That's how sharp their eyesight is. Look how he's walking. Look at the gait. It's really very different from any other animal. Elephant, dog, cat. Look, it walks left, right. I always think it is to counterbalance the height of the neck. There is no proper, explanation why they walk like that, but that is my explanation. Amanda, thank you for your comment. You say, what an interesting pattern the giraffe has got. Well, I call it looks like a jigsaw puzzle, or jigsaw puzzle, or what you call it, tie and dye. That's what we have material that it's called tie and dye. That's what I would call it. It's very very different from one to the other. And this is the Maasai giraffe, one of the 3 giraffes that we find in Kenya. This one is restricted to the south of the equator. All of them stand at 18-19 feet tall, but the pattern is very, very different. We have the reticulated, found above the equator, and then we have what is called the Rothschild giraffe. It is endangered, and it's also in protected areas. He's getting into his favorite habitat, forest, bush. Look how he's going to disappear. He knows where he's going. He's been there before. They have these routes that they follow. And look at how he disappears. Is he going to start topiary or start eating the top? Look how he quickly disappears. Look at that. Ryan, thank you for your question. You asked me, how long does a giraffe live for? It is estimated to be around 25 years. That is, I think, in captivity in the wild here, they would live a good 20, 22, but in the wild about 25. Very good question. Here we have another browser. It's called the impala, and those are impressive hunts. This is a fully grown male. I would give him a good 5 years. They live around 9, and each day for them is almost a year for us, because they're always on the lookout, always listening, smelling, and even looking. Look at that other one. I think he looks like he's looking outside the window, checking me out, saying, what are you doing here, there? Yeah, he's really enjoying whatever he's eating. Look at how he's chewing. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, enjoying his leaves. That looks like, is it a female?
Yeah, let me have a look. It's quite a distance away, and I have to figure out exactly where James is pointing with my binocular so I can pick him up. Oh, it's a male. Yeah, it's the same guy, but yeah, with the neck it looked slightly different. Look at how he reaches for the leaves with ease. Wow, that is the work of the tongue. Yeah, it's like another extra hand. Yes, it's like another extra hand that you can extend and use it. Look at that. Yeah, very useful. And now that is the work of the lips. It will use the lips to pluck off the leaves from the branches. The tongue itself is around 18 inches. That is too long for a tongue. I would call it freaky, and it's dark color. So when you see it, and it's very smart, you know. Thank you for your question, Liru. You ask if the giraffes ever cross the river. Of course they do. They have been seen, I have seen them, they do cross the river. But they are very careful, and for some reason they cross in the deepest part of the river, so they are rarely taken. Look at how he is using the lips to pull off the leaves. Yeah, I have another one very close to me, almost walking into the car. But yeah, that guy is very interesting. Yeah, this one close to us here looks like a female, and she is right here. You're going to join the male. Maybe she's realized, you know, the dinner is running out. That tree must be very delicious. Hello, how are you? Yes, it's me. Remember me? Yes, look at that. It's a beauty. She looks slightly older than me. Sometimes I tend to look at the neck, and if it's... Yes, I'm talking about your age. Do you mind? It's like she heard me speak English. They're very inquisitive giraffes. They'll always look into the car. He said they see in color, so maybe he's differentiating and looking inside and trying to figure out exactly where the voice is coming from and pinpoint it. Yes. Did you lift your lip? Yes, it's like it's talking to me. Hello. Yes, I was talking about the neck. Sometimes, you see the neck, how it's way ahead. The neck is much straighter. Now, let's go back to the giraffe closer to me when you can, James. Look at that neck, it's much straighter. And then look at this one here. It's slightly folded. You know, when she walks, you'll see it's got a curve towards the shoulder. That's how sometimes I think, you know, I age them and tell, you know, if they're older. Also, you look at the cheeks. They look like they are much whiter. They get, you know, gray, like, very much like us. Yes, I'm talking to you. Are you listening? Are you going to answer? She's really, really staring at me. Yes. Okay, thank you. No issues. Thank you very much. That was... Okay, it's not over. What did I do? Yeah, very inquisitive, as I told you, giraffes. They're very interesting. One of my favorite animals. Yeah, here comes the ranger, but I think he's gonna... Yeah, he's right here. He's the guy who takes care of our rhinos. And he's heading out on his patrol to make sure that all our rhinos are safe. Back to the giraffe, and let's, you know, see what it's saying. Yes, she's really like having a standoff with me. I don't think, you know, she's agreed with me, saying that she's old. Kim, thank you for your question. How are you today? You ask, you know, if giraffes stay all their lives together. A good question. Giraffes live in what is called open family groups, and they might stick together for a while, then split for a very long time, then come back together. So I would say together all their lives. At a very young age is when they really are together, but after they reach maturity at the age of about 4, 5, and for the males about 7. Then they go different ways. Look at the ears, look at the eyes. You can tell that they're all focused somewhere. Yes, well, yeah, you're done with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate. I hope I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Yes, joined by the 2 male impalas there. Yeah, I'm going to continue down the road. I'll catch you, somewhere.
Thanks, Isaac. Welcome back to Djuma, everybody, where we've got some wonderful elephants. Obviously, we're trying to pick up on any tracks of Thandi, and so far we've had no luck. Doesn't seem like she's come out of the block anywhere. But we'll keep working. It does make it tricky, though. Oh, it's okay, Mama. I saw this herd this morning and they were very relaxed. Now this female's a bit agitated, which makes me feel like she can smell a leopard or something of that ilk.
Down 4, 5.
Wonderful scenes with elephants everywhere. There are plenty of them on the property at the moment. Tony, you want to know what the white is in elephant's eye? I think it's got something to do with lack of tear ducts or blocked tear ducts. I forget the exact reason. And I think it's sort of a way or mechanism of removing that dust. They don't have the same design to the eye that we have. So it often ends up being sort of an accumulation of something like that that is sort of cleaning the eye out. But I'm not really sure. You do see it every now and again, but it's not always seen. I think it was seen this morning by Trish as well. I'm sure she probably gave quite a good example. She's got quite a great understanding of eyes, doesn't she? So I can't recall off the top of my head. It's got something to do with that. Okay, so it is something about the tear ducts, but I forget the exact wording. Don't have the same tear ducts that we have. But they get lots of dust in the eyes. They don't have eye drops like we do. And so every now and again you'll find an elephant with very white gunk in the eye. And they don't have the fingers like we do, everybody, to rub it out the corner. Well, they're just moving behind the bush now. Relaxed. They weren't very happy when we got here. Not very unhappy, but just a little bit of uncomfortableness due to the fact that they can probably smell something on the wind. Let me just move back for you. Or forward. I'm going to just open up the side there for you. Jade, you want to know if there's such a thing as elephant sign language? Well, they've got lots of behavioral traits that they do. They give off lots of signs. So I don't know. For us, it's definitely behavioral traits that we see, which we could call signs. They're often signs that they give off long before they do anything. Head held high a little bit, tail not moving like that, tail going quite stiff and moving from side to side. the body posture moving like this, that she's turning her head. She can on her left-hand side. And when she turns her head, she'll look on at me from the right-hand side. So those are signs that they are very aware of you and they are watching. They aren't necessarily negative signs, but they are signs saying that these elephants are alert. Also very gentle signs of the trunk just stopping and raising itself left or right, frosting what's going on. And then obviously there's the very obvious trumpets, the very obvious trunk in the air, the very obvious charging or mock charging, as some people might call it, or ears wide and display. A lot of that comes much later than the very subtle signs of an elephant standing very still, of a whole herd standing very still, a herd or an elephant playing with its food, displacement feeding, so not actually feeding, watching you and moving the food around with its trunk rather than actually moving it to the mouth. You can see it sometimes when elephants are quite agitated. They grab a stick with some grass and they're so agitated they can't even get it to their mouth. And you see them do that, you know that animal is not 100% relaxed. You often see it with youngsters, that are, especially young bulls, that are a bit sort of overwhelmed by the fact that their original signs to you of them being big and strong didn't scare you away, because it's supposed to scare everybody away. But you never run from an elephant. It will just encourage, especially young elephants, they get quite boisterous. If you run from a young elephant that's trying to play, the game becomes a lot where the elephant is going to keep chasing you. No chance of you outrunning it. So can you see how she's still looking? If any of you know anything about horses, you'll know how horses can see backwards. Not like directly behind them, but they can see over their shoulder each side. So each time she's turning, she's still watching me there. Can you see that? It's because there's youngsters in amongst the herd. She knows that she's between us and the youngsters. Everything's fine there. She's not turned the other way. It's very subtle signs. And the tail is straight down. There's no wagging of the tail, which means she's not 100% relaxed. So a lot of those are very, very subtle signs to look for in a herd of elephants.
We got stock there, and this is one of my favorite stocks. And this is called the yellow-billed stock. There's so many stocks that we got in Africa, and this particular one is my favorite, and especially when they're in their breeding plumage. Look at the colors of this stock here. And why just I left my crocodiles and the animals that refuse to cross the river is because of its reflection in the water. She doesn't seem to be eating. She's just standing there. Not sure she's waiting for anything to feed on. It's possible because they'll always feed in the water. And, oh, are you having a sit? See how they rest and how they like kneel backwards. Are you trying to walk? Are you trying to do some exercise? How cool is that? It's something I've not seen before. Or I can't remember the last time I saw them like trying to walk in that particular condition. And you notice like not the knees actually that bend backwards. And if you look at it from a distance, you might think it's a very small baby, but with the full color of the beak tells you it is an adult. Now to the right of that, I think there's a heron at one point. Right there, it's good to see both of them at the same time. In the air, it's always good to know how you can tell the difference of these two birds when they're flying. In general, when you see herons flying, they'll always tuck in their necks and head. And that to me looks like the grey heron. And they have one commonality, feeding in any place that collects water. And in general, freshwater areas, small little pad of a spring, or well, or when rainwater collects. But now, when you look at the storks when they fly, they got their necks and beaks or heads stuck out, like straight. So very quickly, should you see these two different species of birds flying in the air, that's how you can identify them. Maybe not say the exact type, what stork or what heron, but you can say that is a heron or that's a stork by their flying style. Swag, you're looking at the species recorded in the Mara now. Give me a minute. We have what we have there, and this is the yellow-billed stork. That's 1. We have the open-billed stork. That's 2. We have the sandal-billed stork. That is 3. We have the adherence stork. That's 4. So just hold on. I have counted 4. I need to wake myself up. I've been not doing a lot of birding the last few days, or rather the last few months, I would say, since we had these issues of COVID. And I'm going to open my book here, if you give me just like a couple of seconds, and I'll tell you what other stock I might have missed. But I think in the Mara, I've given you the most important ones. Very good. Now, I said we got the white stock, which I forgot to say, the white stock. We got the yellow-billed stock. We got the woolly-necked stock. Abdim stock we see very many times. Sandal-billed stock, very beautiful stock. And I'm going to be showing you that on the book. And we got the African open-billed stock. Those are the ones that we see every other day. But of course, we have the other big ones, like the marabou stocks. We saw one in the morning. And the black stock. All right, so give or take, we have about 8 stocks that we'll document or see in the Masai Mara.
Hello guys, look what I just found. My first leopard with with this show. I'm so happy. You don't know how I am. This is a very beautiful female. David's. Yes. You don't know how excited I am. This is the one that David saw a few days ago. And I didn't think I could find her. I was just driving and she just appeared out of the blue. Looks like she's very interested in looking at something. So looks like I'm gonna be staying here and finding out what she's all up to. Remember, this is one of the most elusive cats in Africa, and especially here in the Mara. There are so many, but to see them, chances are very, very slim. The African leopard, the prince of darkness, I call it. Look at where she is, the perfect habitat for her. Yes, she knew I really wanted to see a leopard, and she came out. Remember, this is coming live from the Masai Mara. Talk to us on hashtag WildEarth. Watch these live on YouTube live stream. Yes, this is happening now. Now, I'm going to check with my binocular, see if she is lactating. Yes, looks like she is. She might have some cubs. Yeah, because that's what I heard from other guides, that she had cubs. I've never, I didn't see her, so now I can prove that she's got cubs. She looks very interested in going at something. And I am staying here to see what she's all up to. We passed an impala way back where she's looking, and I don't know if that's what she's gonna go for. If she does, it means this is where I'm gonna be, for the rest of the evening. The eyesight of a leopard is, equivalent to none. They can see really, really, really well. Look at those beautiful eyes, long whiskers. She's just a beauty. Yeah, she just came out just to show off and tell us that she's here. It's her territory. Now I know. Yeah, thank you very much for all your comments and support. Well, she's really looking for something. Now I know this is her territory. I might have seen her some times back, but I will leave to, to tell that if it's true, if she's her. In something, definitely. Pardon me, repeat the question because I was listening, she was calling. Is that Chris? I didn't hear the name, but you asked if there are few leopards in the Mara. No. They say that in the ratio of lions to leopards, there is more leopards. It's only that there is a great cover and areas that you cannot go, so we rarely see them. No, we have lots and lots of leopards, and they're very wild, very shy. To see them is very impossible. But yeah, we do have enough leopards. She called, and I don't know if the cubs are going to show up. If they do, that is going to be icing on the cake. That's gonna blow my mind. But she did call while I was talking. You didn't hear it. Look at that, she's looking, using her eyesight. Definitely hunting. One of the most successful predators in the African plains. They use stalking. They walk almost on their bellies, on their haunches. They disappear in the long grass and then just appear like ghosts and pounce on their prey, killing it with extreme choking and using strength. Then it's one of the only few animals that takes its kill up a tree and eats it at leisure for up to 2-3 days. They weigh up to around 80 kilos, but a fully grown male or female can take an animal 3 times its size up a tree. Those eyes are just piercing, concentrating on the on the place, see if it can see something. The day is coming to an end, and so she's using this last light to either spot something that she's gonna go for. She's only about maybe 30 meters from where I am, and she's very relaxed. Very, very relaxed. I hope you're enjoying this. It's one of a kind sighting. James Richard, you say that this is not the same leopard with David. I will not argue with you. You might be an expert in identifying them. I'll leave to catch up with you so that you can share some pictures and information about who she is. She looks like a female. Quite young. I would give her a good 4 or 5 years. So she's still very young. Thank you for your comment, James, on that. Yes, look at she's just looking and looking and looking. I hope she finds what she wants and she can go for. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying this, guys. It's it's one of a kind sighting for us here in the Mara. In Southern Africa, where my colleagues are, they have leopards left, right, and center. And they can see them every other day. I'm very happy for them. Over here, when we see them, it's like Ruby, is that the name? Sorry, you asked me how do I know if it's a male or female? Through experience, I look at the head. A male's head usually are slightly stockier, even at this age, and then they tend to be much shyer, the males. So I'm going for a female, but when she moves, I will confirm that. Looks very much like a young female to me. Yeah, what a find, Talk to me, talk to us. #WildEarth. This is life. from the Masai Mara. From where she is, there is an open plain to the right that extends all the way to the marsh, and then behind her is a very thick forest, which is very good trees that she can use for advantage, to climb if she needs to look far distance. And she can come out into the open, hunt, and then go back into the bushes to hide. And if she's got cubs, she could be, she's got a very beautiful place to, hide the cubs. Kathy, how are you? Thank you for your question and tuning in. You ask if she's close to the shepherd's tree male. No, it's a very, very long way from here to where the shepherd's tree male, is about, I would give it 40 kilometers. So that's about maybe 28 miles or so on a direct line. But here, because we have to go zigzag, 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 it might take you even 60 kilometers. Yeah, it's a female. It is a female, confirmed, definitely 100%. Is she gonna do a catwalk on that log? There is a long, log there. I don't know if she's gonna walk on that log. There she comes, you see her. Oh, what a beauty, look at this. I hope she does the leopard for us. She's rubbing the trees. That is typical for most cat. They leave their scents on the tree so that and leave a message. So if other cats come, they can learn or know that Magdalena was here and she's asking for a mate, or she's not interested in having anybody, in this bush. That is the kind of message they leave in the bushes. Very typical of cats. So once they've been looking for a while and there is nothing much happening, they will take a break, and that's what she's doing. Look at where she is. I tell you, if you're just driving and you didn't know what to look for, I would tell you, you'll just drive past her. 100%.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a rather chilly and windy andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. My name's Matt, and behind the camera we've got Craig, and this afternoon we've managed to find 4 white rhino, which I didn't think we would, to be very honest, because it is very windy. But as Craig zoomed in, I just saw now a lilac-breasted roller. In fact, towards the rump of the one in picture is a lilac-breasted roller. Oh, it's just lay down. Have a look at that now, completely disappeared. There flies the roller. I wonder if, I can't see that closely, but it might have caught something as that rhino lay down in a little bit of a sheltered spot there from this wind. It might have disturbed something, a grasshopper or the likes, that it then went and fed on. Very pretty to see that. There's a southern fiscal a little bit further to the left, a couple of oxpeckers, and even a couple of glossy starlings that were following the 4 of them. I say that there's the 2 lying down that you see in picture, and then 2 standing up that are quite well hidden. But every so often they're lifting their heads, grazing. And I think in amongst those quarries are a little bit more nutritious grass shoots coming through there. But those 2 that you see in picture haven't quite had their afternoon full just yet. There's exactly in the direction that this one is walking towards it's flown away now, it was a glossy starling. But they've still got their heads down, now facing into the wind, which quite often you'll find animals do is walk into the wind. Their ears will face behind them for them to hear things, perhaps predators or threats. And they can obviously smell things as they walk into the wind. But just have a look at those clouds at the top of your picture and the way those quarries are moving. The wind is ripping through here, and it's bitterly cold this afternoon, so we were actually quite lucky to come across the 4 of them. Kim is asking how fast rhinos can run. And believe it or not, for such hefty
mammals, they can move at quite a pace, between about 45 odd kilometers an hour, which is quite something. And I'm not sure, Kim, if you've seen that before, but they'll, sometimes if they're young and playful, they'll trot around, or if there's a threat or danger, mom might come storming past. But seldom do we see them running that often. If males are in a fight, you might see them running away from each other, in which case, upward speeds of around 45 odd kilometers an hour, which is frightening for something that's almost 2.5 tons. That white rhino that we can just see the back of now seems to have stopped feeding. It lifted its head just now. There's that southern fiscal that's just come into picture that we spoke about. That's following actually a lovely variety of birds that are following these particular rhino this afternoon. At least 4 of them, including the oxpeckers. There's the glossy starling that's just landed as well. Might be a little bit out of there it flies away. No, there, Craig's found it again. There's that glossy starling that we spoke about, that very orange eye. I might stick around here for a bit, otherwise we'll see what else we can find.
Welcome back. Confirmation. This girl is called Romy. And so I can confidently say I have met Romy. The word comes from a leopard expert who's been following our show. Thank you very much. And he's so good, he sent his message to confirm the sighting that this is Romy. So I'm gonna also later on talk to him and find the identifying marks, so that next time I don't have to wonder who it is when I come across this area. Of course, sometimes she would be, there would be another female in the territory, but mostly females really protect their territory. So hopefully she's going to be the only one. Like I said before, after really investigating and making sure there is nothing to go for, they take a break. Good at it, and they do it with style sometimes. As you can see, that is called belly flop, or belly flop freestyle. Just hugging the tree. Nature creates this jungle gym for this animal. It is amazing. You can see how she's enjoying lying on that tree, under that tree, and also on that old log. Later on she'll be waking up and then scanning, and hopefully if she finds a target she will go for it. Leopards, the longest amongst all wild cats, especially here in Africa where it's rough and tough. Leopards here will live a good 18 to 20 years in captivity. They live much longer, and of course the reason why, being hand fed, there's no argument that you will live longer because you don't face hunger days or hungry days. Over here, these guys have got plenty to eat, but competition from other predators like hyena and lion keeps them at check. Yes, and I think she had something, and that's why she is looking. It's behind me, so I cannot tell exactly what it is. It looks like it's not very interesting, so it's okay. Back to nap. They will do this for a whole day, and when they have eaten, very much like lions, they will sleep for 15 to 18 hours non-stop. I wish I could do that, but for sure I know I would go hungry very quickly.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Djuma, WildEarth. And my name's Andrew, behind the camera, Glenn. Quite a cloudy afternoon, which is it's not easy for the animals to be showing up, but had a little bit of a glimpse of a Ngala down in the drainage line in there. Looks like it disappeared. I'm just going to try, see if we can find it again. But, you know, there's a bit of wind, so animals, they sometimes trying to away from the wind by going into the drainage line for a cover. So even the antelope, small antelope, like impalas, all these grey duckers, you know, you find them in the bushes, thicket bushes. So I'm going to try see. It looks like they're running in the very deep down there. So I'm going to find a good place here to park, see if we can just to see the glimpse of them. Just going to stop here, see if we can, right there, see just a movement, but you know, just like I said, they won't stick around. Ngala, we know for sure that they're capable of being in a thicket. And then, but for these, being so cold also, it even make the open area. Remember this time of year, they don't only have to eat grasses, and they will pick up leaves, dry leaves, as they move their lives during the day. So it looks like we're not actually finding any joy in this visual of this animal. So, you know, we're just going to move forward or carry on, you know, see what else we'll find along this drainage line, you know. So, see what else we'll find.
Welcome to Buffelshoek Watering Hole, everybody, where we've got a couple of very cold-looking doves. Look like Cape turtle doves. Sitting on the magnificent torchwood tree that used to sit here. That has fallen over. And they're looking very happy, are they, with the weather? We've had no joy, I'm afraid, with any tracks of Tundi. She hasn't come out of that block, so we'll probably go past a little bit later and see if maybe she'll come out. Means two things: she caught something and she's eating, or she didn't catch something and she's resting. And she'll probably go back to her cub at some point. Either way, one, if she's got a kill to go and collect the cub, or two, to carry on hunting and then go collect the cub. Either way, we'll probably find her moving a bit later. A little bit more movement than these Cape turtle dove muster. They've got their own down feathers all puffed up to stay nice and warm on this cold afternoon.
Hello, welcome back. My leopard is still, same position, has raised its head slightly, and so I'm waiting to see if she's gonna wake up and go for something. Very focused on something that I cannot see. Susie, you ask if she's in her territory, or is it far from the migration? Maybe could you reframe the question again, please? Susie, thank you for your question. You asked if she's here because of the migration. No. Leopards, and especially females, are very, very territorial. they'll never live very far from their original territory. Some females or males have been known to kick their mothers out of their territory and take over. And from where she is very quite far to depend on the migration. So she is a resident. Those ones that are very close to the, let's say, the border, those ones we see coming deeper towards us, and others going farther away from us, like, you know, places like deeper into the Serengeti. So this one, a roaming resident, and she's just a beauty, a young, very pretty princess, and she knows it, and she's not hiding it. She's zonked out, fast asleep. It's called a quick power nap. They need this. And you know, one thing that I always have to reiterate and tell is that these cats might seem to be very lazy, but I tell you, when you see them working for whatever they eat, they do fight, and they really struggle to get what they kill. Just imagine a young leopard like this, you know, bringing down a young warthog. It's not easy. A warthog fights. A warthog doesn't give in easy, so it could take even 45 minutes to kill. That is pure strength and determination. So when they rest like this, please forgive them. Yes, they're moving like a rudder, listening to the slightest moment. The only enemy to this cat right now is lion. Lions are their biggest rivals. They would kill them without hesitation, and that is to reduce competition, and so they can have everything around this area to themselves. That's all they think. Yes, she's still sleeping, enjoying her nap. Thank you very much, Romy, for showing up. I've been desperate to see you coming here every day. Thank you very much. Yes, I hope you're having fun, guys. There's no dull moment here in the bush. Look at what we found. Now for your beautiful question, you ask if females mate with multiple males or they just stick to one male. Definitely they will prefer to have multiple males, but that is the work of the males to be available. What happens with the females is they can crisscross other males' territory. Unlike males, they try to stick to their own territory, and so they will mate with different males at different times. They don't stick to one male, but that is a big risk for especially a female like this. If she mates with another male that moved into this area and was never noticed, and the existing male never noticed that there was another male, if this female gets pregnant and gives birth, the prevailing male might kill the cub if it's born when it's still around. So it's also a big risk when that happens, but they don't stick to one male. They mate with multiple males at different times because they can crisscross territories. Still sleeping, very fast asleep. She doesn't look hungry, but she will be needing a meal maybe in the next coming day or so. Or she might, cook dinner this evening.
Wonderful when we get a friend of ours, James Richard, helping us to identify the leopard, like the leopard with Isaac called Romy. See leopards here, and not that they're not there, because the other day I also saw a leopard more or less the same area, and to have James Richard, thank you for helping us get the name. We haven't seen our good friend the shepherd tree for ages. I don't know where he is as a male, but maybe sooner or later we shall be venturing in that particular area and see him. Now, the leopards in the Mara, to me, are a little bit different from the ones we see in South Africa, because leopards here, especially the male, if you look at their prey, sometimes they get huge, massive prey. I have seen a leopard here in the Mara, the other side of the Mara, the Greater Mara, bringing down a fully grown toppy. Of course, not a zebra, but toppies, I'm talking of 250 kilograms, maybe, or about 500 pounds. To me, that's a huge weight for a leopard to do. But in the Mara, I've seen, but of course, the males are bringing down such big prey. Baby zebras, for leopards is easy, including also in South Africa. Cheetahs the same. Like these zebras that are just feeding here quietly. And if you look in the background, you can see we have some of the two bulls of elephants. The temperatures must have dropped down considerably by looking at the body language of these animals. Danny, how long do elephants sleep for is your question. Danny, I'll tell you first. Let's look at how long the elephants eat, and then maybe from there we can do some arithmetic and find out the period they take to have a nap. Elephants will feed anything between 14 to 18 hours in a day. And if you assume we are left with 6 hours or 10 hours, we include a bit of drinking, a bit of walking, I would say is a very short time. Giraffes, most of us will know they sleep about half an hour in a day. Elephants, I'll say, Danny, not for a fact, but we are left between 4 to 6 hours in between there. They'll have intermittent or short naps in between, but they will not sleep like, 1 hour, 2 hours non-stop. So give it what? An hour or two? But I do not think anybody, Danny, has followed elephants that closely to give an idea how long they sleep for. Neither are the zebras. Zebras, for one obvious reason, they are always on the move, and of course, if not moving, they are always alert that no predators come for them. Unlike the elephants that need to eat so much, that big body in place. I'm looking at these zebras and the ones I saw earlier by the river. They may look different, of course, because of the light setting. And if I try to look and look more colorful now, I don't know. I think the light is much softer now. I would go with this particular one here. Zebra, bon appetit. Enjoy the green grass as the rains continue here in the Mara.
Thanks, Gigi, and welcome back to Buffelshoek Watering Hole, everybody, where we've got a lapwing and the size comparison to a grey heron next to him, much bigger. Excuse me. Now, the herons are very slow hunters. Very large feet enable them to wade out into the water. And that neck works like a bow, really. Sharp beak for piercing and catching. These guys are very good at catching fish as well as frogs. And they are very patient and sometimes a little bit thirsty. So awesome to watch. Sarah herons will normally build their nests sort of in an island or in trees quite close to water. Quite messy sort of platformy nests. They do it in a community. Egrets and herons will often have like a little apartment block of nests that they'll have multiple adults breeding at the same time. I've never seen one on Djuma. Never seen a heron sort of breeding ground or egret breeding ground on Djuma. I've seen them up in the north in Pafuri, and it's quite amazing how some individuals, when a predator like a fish eagle or a bird of prey comes close, some of the herons and egrets will fly away, leaving the chicks or the eggs unattended, and others will stand their ground and try and fight off the predator. But obviously, being in a bit of a sort of a community adds a bit more defense towards predators. There's always sort of someone around to harass predator when you're off feeding. But often in very, very wetland areas where there's an abundance of food. Up in the northern Kruger and Porphyry, it's an amazing wetland system, a Ramsar site. And there's multiple breeding colonies up there. That's why Ramsar sites are wetlands of international importance, because not only does it provide food for many of these aquatic birds, but it provides the breeding grounds for them. They might fly all over the country other times of the year, but they go to specific areas for breeding. And there needs to be an abundance of food with regards to frogs, crabs, fish, obviously tadpoles, and all sorts of other aquatic life. For only 5% of the world's wetlands are still in a natural state. 5%. It's a very small number. Linda, it is something to behold, isn't it, watching them fish? They're very patient. We could learn a thing or two. You see them catch a fish eventually, and they swallow an enormous fish. Or in the case of the Mara, when you see the black-headed herons walking around catching massive rats, or once we saw a scrub hare being eaten, you continue fishing or continue feeding when they swallow something so ginormous. But they've got all day. They've got all the time in the world to just stare at the water, wait for something to swim past. Very relaxing, very, very relaxing herons. And it is quite amazing how slow they seem, but when they see what they want, that neck tenses up and they can spring that head forward with enormous speed. I don't think it's even able to capture it very well on a camera. It goes so fast. I'd love to actually get some slow motion of a heron darting, catching prey. I remember watching a green-backed heron once catching dragonflies at a remarkable speed. If you've ever tried to catch a dragonfly, there we go. Oh, just scratching. Breeding plumage, everybody. Sorry, we just had a flap fall down. Breeding plumage. You can see that sort of nape, that little feather hanging down the back of the head. Sexes are alike. He's getting himself ready for the breeding season, so needs to get a bit of a belly full of food and a good scratch behind the ear.
Well, welcome back, and she has finished her power nap and now very interested at something that I don't see. It's behind me. Oh yes, there is some impala running a long ways away. I don't know what's chasing them, but that's what, she's looking at, some impala. She's very interested to see who is chasing the impalas. Remember, their eyesight, it's like me using the binoculars. From where I am, I cannot really tell, what she can see, but definitely she could see something. Okay, that's a nice pose. Look at that color. My God, what a beauty. Yeah, it's 1 in a million in beauty. Yeah, it is beauty. Yeah, that is the pose you want. I cannot tell you how lucky, you are, guys, to have her sitting on that log, see her whole body with interruption of bushes and anything. It's just pure luck. I hope you're appreciating this. Yeah, this is one of the few animals that when you come to Africa, you don't see. Everybody tells you, like, we saw it yesterday, it was there, we just saw it now. And you keep looking and looking and looking, and then somebody tells you, we saw it too. And to see one on live TV is incredible. I know of somebody who came to Africa 15 times and never saw one. So it's one of the most elusive cats that we have here. And to see her look, she looks very healthy, no problem at all. Very clean skin and fur. Yeah, look at that. Those rosettes, they are called, these are not spots. If they disappear off into the bush, to figure out where she is next to impossible, especially if you haven't seen her for when she's disappearing. She's smelling something. Remember, these cats have got amazing sense of smell. They can differentiate between, up to 3, 4, 5 different smells and, pick up one and just pinpoint exactly what it is. If it's impala, if it's wildebeest, they will know. Looks like she keeps looking to the right, like she's gonna go somewhere or she's got something. So I'm gonna sit here and see what she's up to.
Well, we have managed to find a whole group of elephants, and this one young-ish female is doing something really weird, and I'm not exactly sure what exactly it's doing, but it's interesting to watch nonetheless. Hi, I'm Mike, and behind the camera is Seb, and we are here at Ndlovu Dam on Pridelands Eco-Training Conservancy, and we are just watching these elephants and seeing what exactly they're up to at the moment. It's very cold, and they've come to drink. I think we've caught them right at the end of their drinking, but it looks like they're enjoying the mud and the dust on the edge of this waterhole. And this female, she was doing something very strange. She was picking that log up and manipulating it and then throwing it down, and now it looks like she wants to kick at the log. I'm not sure what's exactly happening, practicing her footwork. It's interesting. Often elephants have a lot of curiosity. They can smell the world around them and they want to touch and feel everything. We watched a baby elephant doing this not long ago. So look what she's doing. She was scraping with her feet at this dry, cracked clay. I wonder what she is trying to achieve exactly. Oh, hello. A little bit frisky this morning. So no wonder. It's been cooped up, probably all huddled together with the rest of the herd the whole morning, and now this afternoon wants to come in and investigate. The wind is blowing quite strongly from where we're sitting to the elephants. Oh, look at the tiny little baby one there. Oh, engage low range, 4-wheel drive. You can make it. That's so cute, man. Oh, that's so cute. It's managed to make it to the top of the hill. Well done. Well done, little one. So a lot of elephants, they're all on this dam wall, and it's very dusty up there. So it might be that they are, getting some dust. It looks like some of them have already got dust on their backs, so they've been dust bathing. Oh, and there's a couple of young bulls at the back that are pushing and shoving each other. Of course, the mound of earth that is the wall of this dam is not very wide, so there's only one pathway and there's a blockage. So there's a bit of shuffling and pushing. It's so nice to see the elephants. It's been very quiet on the reserve because of this very, very cold weather and because it was so rainy this morning. So it's lovely to see a bit of life, a bit of energy here at Ndlovu Dam. Sugar bits, absolutely. Elephant numbers are skyrocketing in South Africa. Remember, in South Africa, we've got very, very well-protected national parks, and the elephant populations are very, very healthy. In fact, sometimes too healthy, and the numbers are rising rapidly. And there's a lot of debate about how they're going to deal with the rising elephant population. As you can see here at Pridelands, we've got an incredible amount of elephants. Speaking to some of the other guides in the area, we talked about how we've not seen this many elephants in one place for a long, long time. So it's obviously very, very good. Other parts of Africa, however, there are definitely elephant numbers that are dropping. But we're so lucky here in southern Africa to have incredibly healthy elephant populations. This funny female elephant, I'm not sure. She's just investigating everything. I hope she doesn't push that tree down. It's got lots of nests and things in it. It would be very impressive if she did manage to push it down, however. It's a very thick tree. Oh, there's a whole bunch more elephants arriving at the dam right now. Huh. Oh no, it looks like they were already here earlier. They've got a bit of mud on the end of their trunks. This is so fun. So she's picking up the stick again. Here we go. Let's see what she does with it. I've seen elephants do this often if they're a little bit stressed out or angry or frustrated about something. They'll start pushing at logs and twigs. Look how she's rushing up the side of the bank there. To have a bit of a run up to get up there. Oh, stalled. Momentum is lost. She's made it up. So often elephants, I see they're very playful. All the elephants at this dam are all raising their ears and pushing and shoving each other. A lot of young bulls in this group as well. So this is really, really awesome to see. No, don't push that. That's a leadwood. She's pushing the leadwood tree now. I've seen lots of elephants try and push this tree. Now she's using her tusks to grade, sort of like gouge the bark off. It's a shame because these trees, even though they're not particularly big, might still be over 100 years old. So I hope she doesn't push it over or damage it too much. It's quite a historic artifact, one would say. She's very investigative, this elephant, right up close to our vehicle as well, because she seems to be investigating everything. And she's got a young calf with her that's following her. So we'll see what she gets up to. Oh, it looks like she's going to go down the other side of the dam. I think that was a question from Steph, but I didn't hear the name very clearly. But the question was, what do we do if we find a broken tusk? So what we do is we actually pick up the tusks and we drop a pin, a coordinate, and we let the reserve warden immediately what we found. If we suspect there's foul play of some sort, like a poaching incident, we will leave the tusk right where it is and drop a pin and stay out of the area so as we don't damage any of the evidence. But if it looks like it's just maybe two elephants fighting and broke a tusk, then we will collect the tusk, call in the authorities, and they will come and collect it from us straight away. Protected artifacts. So if we, let's say, pick a piece up and put it in our pocket and think, oh, that's quite a cool souvenir, if we get found out, we can be in a lot of trouble. So we're very, very careful to make sure that we immediately involve the relevant authorities. And it happens quite often, actually. We often find small pieces of tusk lying around, so we definitely collect them up and then let the people know, and they'll collect them from us. With so many elephants around, especially so many bull elephants, there's bound to be lots of broken tusks and things, because they do fight with each other a lot. And at this time of year, they're using their tusks often to gouge at bark and trees and dig up roots. So they use their tools often, and, you know, a tool is there to be used, and they often do break. But the nice thing about elephants' tusks is that they're quite strong, and if they break just the tip of it, it doesn't usually hurt them too much. They don't have any nerves right in the tip of their tusk. You can see this elephant closest to us. It's actually got a notch, a very, very pronounced notch in its left tusk. So that means that this elephant is probably using its left tusk quite often for very specific tasks, like breaking small branches and stripping grass and things. See that? It's very, very distinctive on this particular elephant. And the right tusk is more blunt, so maybe it uses the right tusk to gouge bark and things. Awesome. Lovely shots. I love the skin of elephants. It's so textured. Gorgeous.
Good afternoon here at Djuma Game Reserve, WildEarth. Again, from watching elephants and also seeing how beautiful skin it is. And since we've got this group of elephants right in the drainage line system here, as we're about, you know, a little bit get confused about, you know, wind and that. But, you know, we thought, you know, if we drop down to the drainage line system where the wind died a bit cooler, and we may get something. So now this is we actually come across right now. Beautiful female over here. Question from Levely. Want to know that if the elephant tusk broke, would it ever grow back? No, it won't grow back. So the tusk itself, it's a solid bone. So it's not actually made out of a type of hair or like a rhino's horn or anything. So it's a solid bone. So once usually broke off, it's going to be like that. That animal is going to be running around with one tusk all its life. So they better take care of them and look after this tusk. But of course, because of for feeding, they do, pushing tree down. Bulls, they use them for fight quite often. They break off for sure. And then out here, I've seen a lot of one tusk or half tusk elephant, which that comes from the fight when it comes to a male elephants. Fight a lot and then the tusk will break off. And this young of the herd, it looks like it's trying to listen to us, but also feeding at the same time, Look at that trunk. The trunk, it's very useful. I mean, since we talk about the elephant using or learn how to use a trunk from younger to a bigger age, so what you're seeing back there, see how the trunk works. It's not just like today and then tomorrow I'm going to use it perfectly. It comes from, practice. Sometimes the young one, trying to run over that thing because they're not too sure what is seeing them in front of them when they're young. So it takes time for them to understand what is that for until their age of probably 8 to maybe a year old when I started to use it. Drink water, but of course, when they drink and they're so younger, they drink right. You see the young one drink right from their mouth just because they're not able to use their trunk properly until they're a year old. So we're going to stick in this drainage line system, follow them a little bit, see how far they go for us.
Okay, welcome back. I'm still with Romy. It is Romy for sure, and it's very, very nice and lovely to learn that, she's a resident here, and she always been, hanging around this area. The one thing about leopards in our area, if I may explain a little bit, is that they are doing very well, unlike where there is human-wildlife conflicts towards the periphery or the borders of the wildlife areas, where they are hunted for their beautiful skins and for going for, domestic animals. Also, in the recent years, there has been this trade of, bones, from these cats being used for medicinal uses. Those are the main, effects facing these beautiful cats, apart from competition from their cousins, the lions, the wild dogs, the hyenas. Here we have no problem at all. They just have their own conflicts as animals. She's posing for us, and she's starting to look much, much more aware. So I don't know how much longer she's going to be in that pose. Because I think she's gonna go out and look for something. I'm still hoping that we get to see her, wake up and go for something. Remember, these cats are like, stealth hunters. They can disappear even in the shortest grass, surprising the prey with, ambushing them or just pouncing on the animal. They're super strong and very, very aggressive when they get hold of. Yes, when they hold on to whatever they kill, they look like they're killing, and they'll never kill another day because, they really hold on to it.
still with these elephants, they're slowly drifting away from the dam. But we're looking at how these elephants walk over this cracked earth, and watch how their feet just expand as that fatty pad at the bottom of their feet just expands to take any of the funny bumps. And it's very quiet, makes them very quiet when they walk, but also very comfortable. Their feet mold to the ground. Very amazing. And you can see the toenails as well. Very interesting foot structure. Okay. This one's walking over to us. I'm not sure. It's a young elephant. One of the young bulls, I think. So he's probably in the next couple of years going to slowly move out of his herd and be pushed out by the females and have to follow some of these young bulls that are, testing each other's strength at the waterhole. We had a very interesting behavior a moment ago. Well, this one's quite young and it's being very curious, as they often are. Hello, a young elephant. Yes, we are here. Are you a friendly elephant? You look pretty friendly to me. See how he opens his ears like that just to listen, lifts his head up a bit to look better at what is over here. It's off aggression, but lifting the head and opening the ears is just an elephant trying to gather more information, figuring out what exactly is happening here. Now he's going to play around. He's going to pretend like he's playing with some sticks. It's a young elephant. I wouldn't say it's much more than about 12, 13 years old. It's very, very short, but quite long tusks for a young elephant. So the tusks are purely genetic. Moa, you're asking whether young bulls stay with the family for their whole life. They certainly stay with them until they reach about their mid-teen years. Sometimes earlier, sometimes later, they'll get moved out of the herd because, as you can see, this group of bulls here are all fairly large, most of them much larger than the females. And so the mothers and their young daughters will not want... Oh, that one's getting a bit of a tusk right in the bum there. That looks very uncomfortable. I'm sorry, old buddy. That did not look nice. See, this is the kind of behavior the females don't want around their youngsters because they're much bigger, much stronger, powerful elephants. And if they start to get a little bit feisty, then it can cause them... This one's asking for trouble. You reversed right back into that horn, into that tusk. So the females don't want this kind of behavior around the youngsters because they're very strong and they might hurt the young ones. So they get pushed out of the herds. The females just pressure them until they leave. So more probably about 15 years old to 20, maybe a bit earlier, they won't be with them anymore. They'll stay in groups like this. Interesting, the smaller elephant is actually bullying that larger one. I wonder. It's so interesting. We've watched some amazing behaviors of elephants at this waterhole. Remember, not so long ago, we had two males mounting each other in the water, which was something I had never seen before. Really practicing that whole mating behavior, and also often a dominance display. Always going to take advantage of that hill. You were too slow. Uh-oh, he's being attacked from both sides. We've been watching these young bulls 7-eyed. Looks like they're very, very frustrated with this cold temperature. They just want to party. And it is a Sunday after all. Sunday fun day. See the tails, how the tails rise up like that. Often the tails raise when they're excited or scared. And we know these elephants aren't scared because they're busy playing with each other. But they'll raise their tails up because they're really excited. The higher the tail goes, the more excitement or stress or anger, or it's like a sign of emotion. It's a standoff. What do they call it in the movies when there's like three people like standing? It's like a Mexican standoff, I think. Yeah, it's a Mexican standoff. South African standoff, we'll call it. Sorry, I really couldn't catch the name there. We're in a bit of a low area, so I can't hear the communication very well from FC, Kirsty. But I think the question was about tuskers. What was the question? Can you say again? Okay, so the question is, are there any tuskers in Pride Lands? And absolutely, we see a number of elephant bulls that are very large. One in particular that I'm sure some of you will have seen before is called Ezulwini, which means from heaven. And he's a massive elephant bull. If you look him up, you'll find that he's one of the few tuskers left in the Kruger Park, and his tusks are so long. You see this elephant here? Ezelwini's tusks almost touch the ground when he's standing upright. If he would rest his head, his tusks would rest on the ground and he could literally sleep with his head resting on his tusks. They're absolutely massive. And what's amazing about him is he's a very, very calm elephant as well. And so we often get very close to him, and he's the most relaxed elephant we've ever seen. It's incredible to be around him, and he's huge. And of course, you've probably seen the other big elephant bulls that we have around here that are followed by researchers in the area. Kumo, whose tusks are not very large, but he's a huge elephant, also very relaxed. And another elephant called spaced, fairly large tusks as well. So we're blessed in this area to have a lot of huge elephant bulls, usually leading groups like this. In fact, there's one elephant bull in this group who's not so small himself, which you'll get to have a look at in a moment. He's going to walk basically in front of where these two are tussling on that earthen mound. His tusks aren't really huge, but you can see they're very wide spaced. He's got a huge head, and he's a tall elephant, so I think he's also up on the largest side of things. All the young bulls are playing. So there you can see the large elephant bull just in the bottom left of your screen there. It's just his forehead, so you can see how much larger he is than the other bulls. He's quite a big guy. Tusk sizes and hierarchy. I think definitely Tav. Oh, Tav, thank you. Tav, that's a good question. Tusk sizes and hierarchy. Not really. I don't think that a larger elephant's tusks necessarily means they're higher in the hierarchy, but an elephant's size is generally the deciding factor. If you are larger and heavier, then you're able to win and be higher up in the hierarchy of elephant bulls. However, if there's two elephant bulls that are generally a similar size or the same size, yeah, probably the larger tusks would win, because from a distance you look more impressive. You look bigger and stronger, and so probably you're gonna intimidate the opponent. And also the tusks are very heavy, so if you've got this one is having a nightmare. Oh, well, he's giving as good as he gets, I suppose. I'm not sure how he's enjoying this. This seems a bit unfair. So. Oh, this one's slipping. He's going to lose. We were all both just saying now, they have to fight on this very narrow dam wall, and one of them is going to lose their footing and end up slipping down. You see now, 2-on-1 did not work, and now you are bottling it. Oh dear, this one has to practice his fighting a bit more, I think. He hasn't quite got what it takes. How nice is this? Just sitting with this group of elephants, just doing their thing. So they seem to fight. I'm glad everyone's enjoying it. We love it. It's so amazing. At this camp, we literally have these elephants almost every day doing these amazing, fun things. I've just noticed now that there's this female that was quite close to us before. She looks like she's super pregnant. Can you see that? I don't know if you'll be able to see it with my big head in the way. But if you look at her, look how wide her belly is out from her hips. Do you see that? I think she's a rather pregnant female. Now, she had a youngster. I think she was one which had a youngster. And if she did, the youngster was already, a few years old, which means she's probably about ready to drop another one. In fact, look on the left there. Look on the left. Look how the belly is moving. Do you see that? Just watch that closely. It looks like there was kicking. Look at that. Look at that. You see that? That's not breathing. That's a young elephant in the belly of this one that's busy doing a bit of kicking. How amazing is that? Hey? Did you see that? There was like a big mound. It was moving a lot. Oh, that's so cool. Remember, elephants take 2 years or almost 2 years to develop their youngsters. So I don't know how far along she is. And look at this other male now is smelling underneath her. I mean, maybe she's very close to the time when she'll give birth. There's not really a season. They'll give birth any time of year. But I suppose it might peak at certain times, but I'm not exactly sure. And there's another elephant at the back. There's actually climbing up rocks, which is something you don't get to see too often to find food. And walking just in front of us now is the very big elephant bull. It is going to block the view of the mountain climbing elephant. So see how big he is. Much larger than the female, much larger than this other male. I don't know if you heard that. There's a lot of communication happening. It looks like all these elephants are going to move off now, heading to better pastures. Oh, my head was in the way. So you can see that these elephants are surrounding this female, and she doesn't like it very much because there's a lot of young bulls all acting very aggressive and are very sort of rambunctious, and she's probably not super comfortable with that. Pregnant, hey? Look, there's another female coming. Oh, is it a female? I think it's another female coming this way. She's going to give her some support, I think. If it's a female, it might also be a male. You all heard the rumbles. I'm so glad that you heard the rumbles. We wondered if you would catch it on our mic, because it's incredible. Most of the communication that happens, we don't get to hear. So it's very nice when we do get to hear the big rumbles. Oh, there's some tiny babies coming. They want to see what's going on. Yeah, so definitely I think this female that's pregnant gave some communication to say, like to the other females, I'm being surrounded, I don't like it, I'm not comfortable with this. And these other females, probably the matriarch, came right up here quickly, close to where these males are, and everything just seems to have stopped for the moment. They're probably all communicating with each other, and then you'll probably see them all move at the same time again to do something else. It's really amazing to watch elephants socialize. And I mean, it's well known that they are definitely one of the most intelligent animals in the whole world. So there's so much intelligent communication happening right now. Almost to the point where you can say there can be discussions. Oh, and it's so nice. I'm very surprised. Look at the size of that giant elephant walking through with those tiny little babies right there. He's probably going to know them, actually. That might be the first time he's seen these baby elephants and wants to go and investigate. Oh, never mind. He said something that they didn't like. There's so much going on. I don't even know where to look. Oh, that's a very tender moment we're catching. Never mind. Did not like it either. So that elephant had a broken tusk. So the tusks are modified incisors. So those longer, thin teeth that we have in our mouth that are used for cutting, they've modified those in an elephant to be these long tools, right? And so if they break too close to the base, it's very painful. But if they just break at the tip there, it's not particularly painful. It's very, probably uncomfortable at first. So nice. All these elephants are just slow, very slowly. Such a cold day that no one wants to waste energy. Their bodies are already probably using a lot of energy to try and keep themselves warm. So the females are moving off very slowly. The males are, as young men do, they don't care about energy. They'll eat later. Right now it's time for partying. But slow, there's no trumpeting. There's no fast movement. It's all just very gentle. It's so nice. Well, we're just going to probably follow these elephants for the next while. It's really awesome to watch them.
Welcome back. And Romy is still in the same position, still very, inquisitive and looking around, interested in some impala. They're quite far away. She changes her sight and looks at something else. You can tell that where she is, it is an added advantage being on top of that old, beautiful log. She can see a little bit farther than being on the ground. There's something that interests her very much. Oft, I can see it. It's behind the vehicle. There we go. Look at her. Looks like she's hungry. Yeah, she hasn't eaten in a few days. Look at that. Real cat. Whoa! Look at that pose. Just the original leopard pose with that tail twitching like that. Yeah, I've seen cubs play with it a lot, especially when it moves like that. Remember that this is not a cat to mess with. Very dangerous, very fast, and very aggressive. Yeah, though, we never have, issues with them. They live amongst us, surprisingly. They have been known to live in the most urban areas because their good camouflage and their behavior keeps them and leaves them very undetected for many months and weeks, even years. I read a book or a magazine where they were once found in a go down in southern Africa. It's, unbelievable. And I think that is something to do with the camouflage. Remember, this is live. Yeah, talk to us, #WildEarth. You can watch this on YouTube, live stream. Yeah, it's coming from the beautiful Masai Mara. The temperature right now is grayskull. Is that the name? Are they stronger than cheetahs? Definitely they are. There is no comparison between cheetah and leopard. 100%. Leopards are much, much stronger. They are built for stalking. They are built for the kill. Cheetahs are built for speed. Here we go. She has chosen her target, and this is how she starts. Just like there is nothing going on, and then when she gets closer, it gets serious. You can tell, close to her back legs. She hasn't eaten in a few days, and it's about time she finds a meal. What a beautiful cat, just walking out in the open. Whoa, what an evening. I hope you're enjoying these guys. She's gonna go out of the frame, and it's gonna force me to, continue following her, which I have nothing else to do but just to do that, because I want to see where she's going. She's right there. She's headed to where she was looking, and I think she's going for the impalas. So I'm gonna turn around. Please join me, and if you go away, I'm gonna make sure that if she does something, you will see it.
Welcome back to Djuma again. Still have this beautiful herd of elephants now. They're coming down to drink, which is looks like they were thirsty when we left them down in a river. See the young one all going first. It's great. So when I look at them, none of them lost their tuskers yet, because even the young one, they can lost their tuskers. They do, and and they don't know that it won't gonna grow back. They only realize when they grow up and they don't have both of them. Look at them drinking right now. So fully grown elephants can take roughly around 200 liters of water a day. Which is cool. To sustain their whole body. Since they're big animals, the whole day is too long. I mean, this animal, they stand, there's always feeding, So when they have that much water, it's worth it for them. All the plants that they rely on now, feeding on, some of the grass is dry, so the herbivore animals, they tend to, get thirsty so quick. So animals like him, sometimes three times a day or more, depend on how water available around and how far the water, Waterhole is far apart. So, and they're well known as a good swimmer, so they can swim. Right now we on Twin Dam, one of the waterhole around Djuma here. And this is the last dam from Djuma. If they're going to continue south, I think it looks like it. They're going to walk past us. There's a main road. The southern side of us, so they might actually cross and we might lose them there. But it's good that we have sightings still. Only that last big one still holding on his drink, so it looks like she was much thirsty. A lot of them, the bigger one here, it's all females. I don't see any big males, so since males they don't really associate with females, they're somewhere else. It's a bunch of bachelor groups somewhere. So we'll leave them.
Welcome back, everybody, to andBeyond Phinda, where we this afternoon have been struggling to find things. We've now found quite a small herd of zebra together with quite a large herd of wildebeest. You can see the zebra not too interested in eating this afternoon now, nor they were all huddled up quite close to one another now, just I think trying to keep warm, as are we this afternoon because it is still quite chilly. But quite a nice open area. The wildebeest are actually getting very comfortable. They've started lying down here next to this quite exposed thicket. But they're lying on the side that's protected by the wind. The wind's actually coming from behind us, blowing the other side. So that side, they'd probably be able to hear a little bit better from where they are. There, like another one disappears in the long grass, and this could very well be where they end up resting this evening. It is quite a nice open area so they can see things coming from a distance, and obviously the more eyes the better. Just having a look, there's a zebra coming into picture now. His head's down at the moment, particularly dark stripes and very thin white stripes, but I just saw now he was a little bit lower than us, a really thick black stripe down his back, and I'm hoping that we get to have another look at that at some stage, because it's interesting markings, and not often that you get to see their stripes from above. Just happen to be walking up to the top as this wildebeest photobombs is, which you might see if we follow this wildebeest where he goes. There are quite a few younger wildebeest. Miss Magic saying that these guys need to go to the Mara for the grass there. You're not wrong, Miss Magic. It is quite a long walk for them, sadly, from Phinda to the Mara. But there is already areas here and we actually received a little bit of rain today, so hopefully there'll be new shoots that emerge, new shoots of grass that is emerge for them to eat. Couple of youngsters in the mix as well. You can see their horns grow straight up, born probably around November, December last year. A little bit lighter in color as well compared to the adults. You can see those almost like a more browny color than the black adults, and you might find that throughout even with antelope. Some of the antelope species like sable, you might see the youngsters along the adults, and one of the reasons for that is that it just helps them remain concealed at such a young age. Obviously a lot more vulnerable then. But they're all just trying to get out of this wind this afternoon.
Welcome back. And Romy was just up a tree, and now she's going down. I think she has picked up her target. There is an impala with two fawns a distance away. Look at that. Wow, look at that. Doesn't get better than that. Only leopards can do this. Look at that pose. Unbelievable. Yes. Yes, one of those, sights. Look at that. One of those sights that you don't see every day. She has picked up her target. She's coming towards me, and I think she's going to take a very big loop, either to get in, then come in from behind. That's where the impalas are, and I think that's what she's gonna do. She's not very happy. If you see that she's lifting her lips, she's lifting her lips like this. She's not very happy, and where I can see her going, she's going to go round into the bushes and then take the back side of the forest and probably come in and surprise the impala, which are, way down there. So what we're going to do, this is the warden. There's nothing like breaking the rules here. So I'm going to wait until she has disappeared. She's going to allow me. Then I'm going to follow. There's a track that goes around. Then go wait where that impala is. Hopefully, she does make a kill, because she is very, definitely hunting, is hungry. So it's about time that we leave her to go, hunting. Yeah, we can't see her from where we are. She's somewhere up here. We're leaving her to do her own thing. Yeah, there she is, following the track. Now, this is hunting in the making.
Welcome back to this side of the world. In South Africa, we are in Djuma now, currently, everybody, at Chitra, in fact. And we've got what appears to be a dead animal in the water. Now, by the coloration, it appears to be a water buck, but I'm not certain. It looks furry, if anything. That's as far in as we can go. And it's being fed upon at the moment by terrapins. Every now and again, you might see something pop up. Now, how it got there is anyone's guess. Many of these animals will flee to the water to get away from wild dog. And there are sometimes a crocodile or two lurking in the waters, which will kill. Sometimes even hippo will kill animals. So it actually looks like a hoof on the far left, doesn't it? Popping out there. It's very hard to really say. It almost looks like a shoulder and a leg, with a foot on the far left. And I don't know what that white is, if that's just where the fur has been removed. But there, between sort of the shoulder bit and that, whatever that is popping out the top, you'll often see that little terrapin. There we go, far left, there's a terrapin's head, the culprit. It couldn't have been the terrapin that made the kill. A lot of you are guessing an antelope. I'm almost certain it's an antelope. It very much resembles that of a water buck or even a kudu. Hard to tell. We're just going to have to go wade in there and go and get it out. I'm only joking. We won't be doing that. At least where we're sitting, we're a little bit sheltered by the wind. You can see on the water there how the wind is blowing. It's coming from the east. So I'm hoping to maybe see some sort of crocodile action. It definitely was a terrapin, everybody. You're so right. Terrapins are voracious hunters. You go near the water, they'll pull you down with them. I'm only joking. They will feed on carrion. They're very well known to feed off of kills that crocodiles store in the water. Crocodiles don't always eat all the food that they catch. Will quite often store it underneath the water, under a log or a branch along the stream bank or whatever it might be. And you often find terrapins feeding on those carcasses. And also they'll feed off of ticks on hippos' bodies themselves in water. So they are quite foul-smelling creatures, terrapins, because they can eat quite foul-smelling material. Now, this definitely wasn't here yesterday morning. Ian, I've never seen a crocodile catching a terrapin, but I'm pretty sure that they do every now and again. The shell is hard for most terrapins, but I'm pretty sure crocodiles are able to snap them up. But as I said before, they're not the tastiest of animals. When they get frightened or startled or spooked, they give off a foul, foul, foul smell. They basically void their bowel contents, and the smell is unbelievable. So I'm not sure. We find lots of terrapins in crocodile-infested waters, and they seem to be doing okay. They're not the fastest of swimmers, so it's not like they're very good at getting away from a crocodile. But they seem to coexist. You don't often find many baby crocodiles where they are large crocodiles, because they are definitely a big predator on younger crocodiles. So Zephyr has just reminded me, and Zephyr said they saw, I think I remember hearing a story or seeing a picture, but Zephyr's reminding us that the crocodile at the dam camp was seen eating a terrapin. So it definitely does happen. We're about to have some guinea fowl walk in front. They're flying across the screen. Well, there they go on the left and bottom. There we go. Off they go. Where are they going to go to? Go find somewhere to drink. You never know, everybody. Coming down to the water's edge, be you a waterbuck, be you a guinea fowl, be you a terrapin, be aware that there are crocodiles lurking below the surface.
Yeah, we're back with her. You see her where she is? That's where she is. She has moved quite a long way from where we are, and she's on top of that full of grass. From there, she can see really well. She's actually behind. She's facing, she's looking the impalas from behind. It's a female and almost 3 foals. Do I see her? Yeah, actually it's a couple of females and a few foals, all very oblivious of the leopard. And the success rate for this leopard is almost in every, it's 70% success rate. So this kind of cover, on this kind of situation, chances are high that she will get her meal for the evening. So we're staying at a far distance. Hopefully it will happen sooner, before it gets dark or before we lose light, so we can share this with you. You see her? She's turned to the right, and I think the tactic here is to get into the trees and then come out of the forest, on the forest side, because there is enough cover. That is a pure predator instinct. She's gonna go into the forest and then follow the forest cover and surprise them from inside the forest. Definitely that is what she's doing. That tail, it's a dead giveaway usually when they have cubs, for the cubs to follow her. That's, she lifts the tail and the cubs can see that. You could see that from a distance. Quickly, you see how quickly she can disappear. That's how good the camouflage is. Believe me, it's a very long way from where we are. If it wasn't for the good zoom of our camera, we could not be sharing this with you. It's very exciting. It's happening now from the Masai Mara. We have a leopard called Romy, and she's on the hunt. We have some female impala and their foals, and these might end up, being, a perfect hunt. So I'm gonna stay here. Don't go anywhere. Before the end of the show, we might be able to, see a hunt.
Look at leopard hunt in the Mara. It would be splendid to see. We've got our guinea fowl. Off they go. Come on, guys. Let's go have a drink. They want to go drink. They're thinking about it. Eating lots of seeds, lots of dry material all day makes for a thirsty gullet. They'll often come down in the late afternoon for a drink. They often make a lot of noise as well at this time of day. Now they've suddenly decided to scratch around in some elephant dung. Look for any goodies, any tasties before having a little drink. Hello, James. You want to know how deep the water is here? I'm not actually certain at the moment. But between us and this island where this carcass is, it's not actually that deep. Where that tree is on the right, if it comes straight towards me, that's probably a few feet deeper in the water. There's actually a little bit of an island bridge that comes straight towards me here. We noticed when the water level was quite low, and probably in the middle of the dam it's a bit deeper, but I couldn't tell you offhand. But we do find hippos all over the place, and hippos don't really swim. They spend time sitting on the bottom, so I wouldn't say it's more than a couple of meters at its deepest. But we've never seen it at its lowest yet, so I'm not certain how low down it goes. But if you all recall, last year we saw the bowels of Chitwa. We saw the water really, really low down. This island in the middle, and even the island on the right over there, was joined to this mainland where we are here. It was all exposed, and the hippos were not very happy. We've had a really good year of rain, really good. And some of the watering holes that last year were dry are looking very, very good. So it's all positive. It's always quite beautiful to just sit here. I'm just going to allow you to just enjoy a few of the sounds of the birds. The wind might be drowning out the wonderful sounds, everybody. You never know what you will find in Chitwa. The amount of times we've come here and the complete randomness to which sightings have happened. I've had hundreds of elephants around my car. I've had a buffalo giving birth. I've had a sana out of nowhere. Yes, sana years ago. You recall that one of our opening title sequences of a sana walking up to Ronald the Rover. That happened right here on the dam wall, close to where we are. Dave and myself put the rover down for my second ever and only attempt. Ronald the Rover, everybody, for those of you who don't know, is a mobile remote vehicle that had a GoPro on top, and we got the most incredible footage. Sana walked right up to it and sniffed it and went, hello, and off he walked. That was before he took a liking to Ronald and ate him. But Chitwa is an amazing place. James Hendry has been here a few times and found wild dogs hunting, impalas swimming, crocodiles eating the impalas. I've had wild dogs also hunting here, killing waterbuck. I've had wild dogs trying to hunt waterbuck and then big waterbuck standing them down. Just yesterday morning, a journey of giraffe and some zebras came down to drink. Tristan had a male hippo killing a baby hippo. That was traumatic. You never know what you will see on safari. Very hard to predict. So come on safari, everybody, with low expectations, and you will be amazed at what you will see.
Okay, welcome back, guys. We just saw a glimpse of the tail very close to where those impalas are. It's a very long ways away. We cannot get there, and the warden is around here trying to control so that we don't interfere. There we go. Did he get it? I don't know. The impala got away? Did he get it? I don't know. We're going to go there now. I'm going to ask for permission to get close. Yeah, let's go back and see, James. Maybe sweep to the right. Maybe it got to the other one because there were a few. It was somewhere there. So I don't know if it got it. It was there. Back, yeah, to the left. Yeah. Yeah. Arwasa? Yeah, let me ask for some. Tukaribie. Nafikiria ameshika. Nafikiria ameshika. Yeah. Yeah, let's, I'm going to follow the warden. He's told me to follow him. So let's try and get there comfortably and slowly, see if we can, if it's made a kill. I don't know, but allow me to get there and find out if it's made a kill. Probably it has made a kill, but I don't know. Let's get there. The warden is leading, so I have all the audacity to follow him until we get there. For sure, if we didn't get it, we still could go there because the hunt would be over. But I am hoping that she's got something. She deserves it, and also she walked a very long way. Yeah, this is how they use cover and how smart they are. They're built for the kill. They know how to go and follow the terrain. This is where she was in this termite mound, to the right of the trees, and then walked behind the trees over there, and hopefully she's got it. Let's get there. It's amazing, guys. Hopefully she's got something. She deserves something, and hopefully something big, so she hasn't dragged it into the bushes. Yeah, this is a tense moment, I'm sure, for the warden, and I wish I could overtake him, but I can't. Yeah. Okay, here we are. Let's find out. Did she make a kill? It was supposed to be here, around this area. It is around this area here. Let's look for her. I can't see her. She's supposed to be somewhere here. Okay, guys, let's have a look. I don't know if she made it. This is the area she's supposed to be. I'm gonna wait for the warden to either go off-road and tell me if she's made a kill or not. If it's something really small, she could have killed it and pulled it into the trees. But I can't tell exactly where she is right now. I'm looking in the bushes for that slightest movement, the tip of the tail wagging, or on her, on the chokehold. But I can't see anything. I can't see anything at all. So I'm gonna continue looking without going off-road because I'm not allowed and the warden has left. So I'm gonna look. So stay there, don't go anywhere. Hopefully I can find her for you guys.
Welcome back, and Isaac, good luck with your leopard hunt. I know what it feels like to have a leopard give you the slip. Well, we've moved up onto the dam wall, and we found a wonderful giraffe, and it feels like we're a bit eye level with him now. As he's leaning his head back, sticking his tongue all the way out, feeding on this knobthorn, and even feeding on the actual flowers. Hopefully we can get in on that tongue. And I've never noticed it before, but when you see the tongue, if you see it come out, only the end of the tongue, well, 6 to 8 inches or so of it is black. And then there was a line where the rest of it was pink. I always thought a giraffe's tongue was dark in colour. Oh, look at that. We're out if you can get a view of that. Now everyone, that is a knobthorn that has got 2 backward-facing thorns that every time I've gone near has caused me to bleed. This fellow is just ripping the branches with his tongue and lips as if it was nothing. The only way I can basically explain it is by putting on a pair of welder's gloves. Cleo, you want to know how tough the tongues are? Well, it's like leather. Essentially, if you've ever seen or heard of a pair of welder's gloves, they're very, very strong, tough material. They're designed to be burnt and heated and all sorts of things. If you went and took those and grabbed a knobthorn tree and pulled, I think that is the experience. But any normal pair of gloves, you'll be in pain. But they just rip them off. I've tackled with many a knobthorn, even small ones I haven't wanted to tackle. Watch this. Look, the head's going to lift up and back now. Yes, now we're going to get a look at that tongue. He's trying to gauge. How fantastic. Let's see if we can get a look at how not all of it is this. There we go. You could just see it pop out the end there. There's a length of it that's not dark. I never knew that. Those very, very prehensile lips. They're able to use their lips to grab the leaves and to feed. That just goes to show you how, I know it's a bit awkward now, but how the length and awkwardness of a giraffe's body has enabled it to really overcome the dietary conditions or dietary issues that happen to many of the browsers at this time of year. Look how high it's able to feed. Don't forget, it's also able to feed very low with that neck and very deep into a bush. So giraffe don't ever seem to lose condition because of diet. They've always got access to trees, leaves, flowers. That long face as well helps them to access even deeper in. Very powerful eyelashes, almost like a brush, to prevent the leaves from going into the eyes or thorns or sticks. Yes, everyone, it's wonderful to watch them eat. Like the heron, it's quite peaceful, isn't it? But if you do think about its face rummaging through thorns that are very, very painful to touch. And yet, evolution, adaptation at its best. Oh, he's leaning all the way back. It's requiring an enormous amount of strength in the neck. It's about as high as they can go. He's nearly about to lean and stand up on his back feet, lifting his front feet off the ground. He was leaning back so far. Delicious. Hopthorns, very, very nutrient-rich plants. They are acacias. They are part of the legume family. Atlanta Jules, you're 100% correct. Atlanta Jules loves the awkwardness and the gracefulness that the giraffe are able to exhibit at the same time. It's true, they are able to be extremely graceful and yet awkward. Moving around, trying to get access to the trees. Giraffe, when they're running, they look just so good at what they do for such a tall, ungainly animal. Very good at moving. Very physical, enormous amounts of power and muscle. That's delicious, you can tell. He's licking the pollen off his lips. He wants some more. Sorry, he's got just behind that tree there. Let me just move up. No, he's going to move for us. Is he going to try again, or is he done with this tree? Yeah, off he goes. There's the elegance. 2 legs moving each side. Requires a lot of balance. Probably a lot of core and coordination. Oh, he's going to go to a smaller acacia across the way. I don't know why he just didn't do that in the first place. That looks a lot easier to access. And now this, everybody, is where the belief that many people think that giraffe are responsible for pollinating knob thorns, because he's covered his face in one knob thorn in the pollen. Now he's walked across to another. So a lot of people believe that although he's eating the flowers, there's got to be some form of transfer that's happening. I don't personally think that if the giraffe disappeared, the knob thorns would not be pollinated. I think there's way more to it. There's lots of insects and other birds that are doing the same thing. The grey go-away birds are in these trees feeding all the time, transferring pollen. Hard to pollinate a plant you eat entirely. No doubt, though, that he enjoys it. Okay. We're going to just spend a few more moments with our giraffe and see you next.
So guess what we have here? We've got a nest on the right with lots of sticks and things. Oh, my audio is a little bit funky. So we've got a nest with sticks, and we've got a small bird, it's a blackish bird. Tell me what it is. You should know by now. I've been harping on about these the last couple of drives. What are your best guesses? It's not easy. The light is a little bit difficult with those clouds in the background, but I think you've got enough evidence there with this sticky nest. The waterhole, which had all the elephants in earlier, is now devoid of life apart from this one bird surveying its territory. A few other birds moving around that I can see now actually at the water's edge. There's a few francolins. Linda, an excellent guess. It does seem like it has a bit of a forked tail, and it certainly does have a dark body, but it's got a red bill. Try again, Linda. I know you're on the right track. That is almost identical to the silhouette. Looks exactly like it. But remember, a drongo doesn't make... Deanna, a crow? I mean, I guess if you would mix a crow and a fork together, you might get this bird. Another very excellent guess. The silhouette does look similar. It's a rather small bird, probably about the size of a dove. A francolin. Not quite a francolin. Francolins are usually ground nesting. This one is sitting right next to its nest in this tree, in the sticky nest. Keep trying, though. You guys are doing great. It is a small bird, absolutely. This bird is probably about the size of a dove, maybe a bit smaller. And it's black. It's got a red bill, and it's got a little nest next to it, which is its own nest. Not really neatly made, but certainly a nest. There's a second one just underneath there, probably at the entrance to the nest. You won't be able to see it. It's also silhouetted terribly. But... keep trying. I'm excited. The guesses we've had so far is a fork-tailed drongo, very close. A crow, not quite. Francolin. Oh, I didn't hear that, but I know the guess was African green pigeon. Am I right? Was that the guess? Sassy Cathy. It is not an African green pigeon. Should I give you a little bit more hint here? So, it's got a weaved nest. It doesn't look like a weaved nest, but the nest is sort of weaved. They've weaved those sticks together in and out in a bunch there. So it's got a red bill. It's a weaved nest that is its own nest. It's a very dark bird, often in small groups, maybe 10 to 12 birds together. They haven't been seen at their nests recently here at Pride Lands, but they have been now more recently coming to their weaved nests. It's rather large. It's sometimes known as one of the members of the small five. I might have given you too much information now. Rod, yes, it is a red-billed buffalo weaver. Nice. Well done. Yes, absolutely. A red-billed buffalo weaver sitting next to its nest, which has remained abandoned probably for the whole season, and now it's just investigating it again before it starts renovating for the next season's chicks. So you can see one there to the left of the nest, and there's one right at the bottom of the nest itself, just sitting there, probably right at an entrance to the nest. I don't know if you can just see its body silhouetted right there. So well done. All the guesses were pretty good, but you're absolutely right with the red-billed buffalo weaver. We've seen lots of them coming back to the nest recently, which is grand. If you can hear another vehicle, that's our students just arriving back from an assessment. Hopefully they've done very well. I think it'll be the second last assessment for the day. We're obviously right here at Ndlovu Dam, right to the camp. Zaina, that's a good question. I don't know how long it takes to make this nest, but I know that it must have time, and it's not just two birds that make it, a male and a female. There's a whole group. It's a communal nest, so there might be all members of the group that are helping to make this nest, but I'll be able to find that information out for you. I'm sure it has something like that in my Robert's Bird book, which is a very excellent book, lots of information in it. But being quite a large nest, I'd say it probably takes at least a couple of weeks to fully complete this nest. But then again, I mean, I've seen the other weavers, the smaller yellow weavers, sometimes make their very neatly tight woven basket nest in literally just 3 days. The red-headed weaver, I think, makes it in about 3 days. It can make a whole nest. So that's pretty impressive. So I reckon a nest this size, probably at least a week before it's completed. I could be wrong, though. It might be much quicker than that. I'd be interested to figure that one out, to be honest. But a good question. It's always amazing watching these birds weave their nests because they are, you know, not having thumbs and opposable fingers and things like we do. They literally just use their beak and their small little grasping foot to build that whole nest, which is amazing because I can't even sew a button onto my shirt. I tried that the other day. Trust me, it was messy. No one enjoyed what happened. I'm wearing that shirt now, actually. It's not pleasant. Right, I'm gonna find out that information, and we're gonna stick around here by the waterhole.
Welcome back to our wonderful giraffe here on Chitwa. He's having a proper little seeing too by the ox pickers on his eye there. He's been munching away at that knobthorn since he left. And now I don't know what, something's given him a bit of an alarm. He's just moved off slightly. Oh, he's going to go back now. Yes, they are browsers. So they feed on small forbs and ride up to very big trees. So any type of what we call a dicotyledon. So all of your grasses are all called monocotyledons. So all grasses are one leaf when they grow, and all of your forbs, or what people also call herbs, shrubs, and trees, bushes, all fall under the dicotyledon, which means when they pop out of the ground, they have two little leaves. If you're ever looking in your garden and you see some weeds or plant growing out, and it starts with two leaves, then it is a dicot. If it starts with monocot, very simple. And a giraffe are evolved for eating trees indeed. So, but with that head, they can push their head all the way into the bush, right to the top, as we saw before, as high as you can go. But then you can also feed right low down where the impala feeds. With a little bit of tension in the neck, you can pull that neck down. And they can reach the ground. You quite often find giraffe drinking and also sometimes picking up bones off of the floor, which they then eat. So if there are small forbs or sort of wild flowers that are giraffe, it is possible for them to feed on them. is absolutely loving this knobthorn's blossoms. They are out in full flower across the area. It is the harbinger of spring. Susan, you want to know how strong a single kick is? It's very hard for me to tell you how strong it is, but a horse, which averages about, 300, maybe 400 kilograms. Most horses can kill people if they kick them in the head. Giraffes, 1,500 kilograms. So just imagine the difference. That is 5 times or so bigger than your average horse. So the kick would be 5 times the average power of a horse. I don't think you really need to work it out more than a zebra's kick, to be honest. That's enough of a kick to put down a lion. But giraffe have got the ability to kick backwards, very powerful backward kicks like a donkey would do. I think you call it a donkey kick. And then they've also got this ability to sort of lift up and slam their front feet down onto an animal's head, almost like these downward karate chop. And that brings in not as much of a kick as it is backward, which uses the whole rump, but it uses the full weight of the animal pushing down with hooves that are quite sharp and very hard. So a big boy like this is formidable. If any predator tried to go for him, they would have a very hard chance of trying to get him down. They need to get his head below his shoulders. He's trying to go into Chitwa camp. He's going to realize that there's a fence to keep the elephants out. He's going to realize that very soon. No, not going that way. He sees a knobthorn inside the camp that he really wants. There's a whole lot of them inside there. And he's now like, okay, fine, I'm going to line entry there. I obviously don't have a ticket. I'll go and just feed off of the ones hanging out of the boundary.
Oh, it's tungsten. So we're sitting at the Waterhole, and to aid our quiz, we have now some buffalo bulls that have arrived. And this one here is a very interesting bull, and we know him quite well. When Gert was still here, he was very witty, and he named this one Tungsten. Tungsten is a buffalo who seems to always stick his tongue out at us. We find it very comical. They've come to drink a last-minute dip in the pool before it gets very cold this evening and very windy. And they're large animals, so they do need to drink quite frequently, and buffaloes will drink twice a day. So there's 2 buffalo bulls that have arrived, watching us. The wind is blowing from us quite strongly towards these buffalo, and at this distance, in this dark kind of time of the day, they can't see very well, so they just smell us and they're wondering what we are, where we are, what we're doing, but not particularly worried. Remember, they do live in this area right around our camp, so they tend not to be too worried about human beings, to be honest. Tungsten's a legend. I want to zoom in on him and see, because his tongue, look at his tongue is still out. Look at that little guy. I really wonder what, and it twitches his tongue. Look at his little tongue twitching. What a legend. So we recognize this buffalo always straight away. He's also missing a piece of his tail. So at some point, he was obviously having a big fight with a lion. And he obviously came off better in that particular fight, only lost a little bit of his tail. Oh, that's actually, so Seb's just saying maybe a lion caught his tongue and pulled it. You know, like in those cartoons where the character gets their tongue pulled? Maybe that's what happened, and now the tongue just half sticks out of his mouth all the time. It doesn't seem to bother him, because he can pull it in his mouth. When he's drinking, for example, when he's eating, the tongue goes in his mouth. But just when he's resting, a little tongue out. What a cute little guy. Or maybe he's sort of slowly evolving into a giraffe. So he's got a giraffe-esque tongue, which can reach up and grab the branches. Oh, Tungsten seen something there. Oh, there's another vehicle coming to the Waterhole. Bad Monkey, please. That's actually amazing. Bad Monkey says he doesn't get any tongue-in-cheek jokes. I like it. Give me more. Hit me with the dad jokes. I haven't got Gert with me anymore, and he was feeding me just a constant stream of amazing quips. So you see, with this dark environment now, the wind is blowing from us towards these buffalo, and another vehicle has turned up on the other side of the waterhole, and they can't smell that vehicle now, and they can't see it very well because it's getting dark. And look how Tungsten is reacting. First instinct, let me get away from the danger, get a bit further away, and then reassess the situation. Now, if it was a bit lighter, or if the wind was in the right direction, it would know that it's another vehicle and it's not something to be worried or afraid of. But you can see that just because it's a bit darker, they're taking every precaution and just moving to the high ground. As we know, the high ground is probably the safest place to be. From up there, you can have a good view, and you also look a lot larger, so you can charge down at any predator that might be around. And there goes his buddy. Hasn't got a name yet. He needs to endear himself to us before we'll name him. But one of probably the 8 bulls that is always around the camp that we see quite frequently. And there they both disappear off on the other side of the dam wall. And then we wait and see. I've had so much cool stuff here at the moment with the elephants that came earlier, now all these buffaloes, and the buffalo weavers, of course, entertaining us. So going back to those buffalo weavers, I actually did a little bit of research and realized that it doesn't actually say, or none of the things I read told me how long the buffalo weavers take to build their nest, but it did say that males are dominant, and there's often a hierarchy. So the more dominant male bird, the more nest chambers it is dominating, and then it will attract females to the nests by waving its wings at the entrance. The females will go in if they like the nest and they like the male, they'll mate, and the female will raise the young on its own. So he has no parental care. She does everything. So, but up to 8 nest holes in a particular nest like this, 8 chambers, and then a dominant male might have up to 6 of them, and then the other 2 or 3 males will just have to share the other holes. And yeah, so that's very interesting. I never knew that before. Amazing. Most birds are just like that. I think it's called a polygamy. 1 male, many females.
Welcome back, everybody, to andBeyond Phinda. Rather quiet afternoon with other animals, but we've come across a couple of hippo who are active. You can see the wind on the surface of the water, but every so often coming out, opening their mouths, showing us just how impressive their teeth are, and a couple of their tusks, or some of the bulls are showing us their tusks. But far more active this afternoon. When we first went out, they were all lying on the banks on the side of this watering hole, resting. But now you can see moving around a little bit more than you would during the day when they're fast asleep, disappearing and coming up for a breath every so often as well. And as I say that, they've all gone fairly quiet. Oh, there we go. But there are 1 or 2 smaller hippos in the mix here as well that are a little bit more playful, opening their mouths, almost like dolphins running and jumping off the bottom. There we go. There's quite a nice display of teeth. And where they are, they can, like you see that one up at the top now, they can stand up. They just sort of haunch down, keeping themselves underwater. But you can just see the trail of bubbles now that they leave as in their wake as they carry on. This one closest to us, moving a little bit closer to the edge. I wonder where it's going to pop out. There it is. But it's interesting to see all of the paths around the watering holes here in particular. I'll come back to that now. Jonathan is asking the size of this water hole. I'd say, Jonathan, it's probably about 4 football fields next to one another, big. I'd be lying if I told you the dimensions, but it's yeah, a fairly large watering hole and still carrying quite a bit of water, which is quite nice. And especially now in the wintry months, everyone comes down to drink. on a hot day, but today not so much. It is really cool, so no real need for them to come down. But like we were saying about those paths next to them, because hippo don't cross their feet as they walk, they sort of walk parallel. They leave a very neat strip in the middle, which is one way of telling a hippo path from others. And then have a look at that, how they completely disappear. All these hippo, but they can't hold their breath forever. They will eventually emerge from the waters below.
Beautiful, hippo going to water, and with us here, Djuma, a beautiful lilac-breasted roller perching on its perch there, right on a dry, small wood, or little wood. It's probably looking for its perch for now, It's probably windy picking it up so probably gonna have to look for suitable places for them to rest for the night as their day bird, so they don't fly at night or hunt at night, so they sleep at night. Beautiful color bird actually, so lilac-breasted roller. It's got about estimated around 7 different color bird, which is the most colorful, beautiful bird out here. For sure. They stick around all year round. So, seen many of the roller, doing a lot of migration back to Europe, and this seems to be very much resident for us. You can see now when you look under the belly, see its color there. Lilac color. Indeed, it's such a beautiful. I know it's cloudy, and now it's gone. So it's cloudy, but you should actually watch them during the beautiful sunny day. That's where you're able to experience, this true color, kind of like shining all different of them. So I don't know if I will be able to. Bird is probably gone, so we're gonna go in one of the northern boundary, where we saw kind of lion tracks that area, but I know they cross north into Beblusuk, but it's good to stick around in the area or listen to an audio. And the track seems to be was early this morning, since it's good to tell that it's been a little bit of drizzling of the rain here. So when you see the tracks, was a lot easier for us to tell, though there is probably from either 4 o'clock this morning or 3 o'clock this morning, the tracks still look quite clear for us. So we're going to head up there.
Welcome back, and now I don't have Romy anymore. She disappeared off into the bush. We couldn't find her. I don't know if she got something or not, but I have something spectacular for you. It is the sunset that we have here in the Masai Mara. That is not a painting. It is a real-time picture from our camera. Beautiful works by James. It's about, it's about 18 minutes to 7. And the sun is saying goodbye. This is how it looks here in the plains. So beautiful, and the colors are changing by the minute. It's so quiet. There is nothing much going on. Just listen for 5 seconds. That's how quiet it is. It's so beautiful. There is no other kind of noise pollution here. The birds have gone to sleep, and the night animals are coming out. This is the time of day where I say, the day has ended and the night has just begun, and more dangerous animals are just coming out. This is, beautiful. I cannot explain. Yeah, I did hear an elephant rumbling somewhere. Hopefully we'll get to see it up the road. But this is the kind of sunset we get here in the Mara. And the creatures of the night are starting to come out. Here we have a hippo. He's quite a long way from the river, and he must have been in a little stream, so he managed to come out quite early. The buildings you see up there is the ranger's post. The guy is in charge of taking care of all the animals here. Yeah, look at the hippo. He's munching away.
Welcome back, everybody, to andBeyond Phinda, where, like Isaac, we too are waiting for the creatures of the night to emerge. These hippo may be just waiting for it to get dark before they come out and graze at night, and they can and will walk quite a distance to good grazing grounds because they just eat grass up to about 10 kilometers. Chris is asking if hippos mate for life. Chris, they don't. There will be a dominant bull in this particular pod of hippos here in front of us, and he will obviously have mating rights. And as up and coming bulls come and challenge him, and he gets kicked off his throne by other younger, stronger bulls, they then will become the dominant bull, and they'll have the mating rights. So no, hippo do not mate for life. I'm not sure if you heard that vocalization now by maybe said dominant hippo of this little pod of hippos here in the water, but they are all quite spread out now, all starting to get quite active. And a little bit later, most probably, like I said, under the cover of darkness, they'll come out to graze. A couple of those displays of them opening their teeth as well, that's just to show us how big they are and how mean they look. But right at the back walking now is one of the smaller ones that we spoke of. Randy, you're asking how hippos can breathe underwater. They can't breathe underwater. They can hold their breath for up to about 7 minutes, but then they'll come up and take a breath. They usually only hold their breath for between about 3 and 5 minutes. And even while sleeping, they do it naturally. They'll see their nostrils will surface, they'll take a breath, and then head back down again. So they can't breathe underwater. But that being said, the youngsters will actually suckle underwater, which is really interesting.
Right, we just had two very cool black-backed jackals that were just close to the road here. They weren't very confident. They were a bit shy, and I wondered if there's a predator around here, because it's quite early for them to be out. They moved off into the sicklebush thickets now. We're just going to sit here quietly, though, because they were looking quite off to the right here quite a lot. And I'm wondering if, with this wind and this rain and this darkness today, if maybe there's a predator in the area. I know Pixie Pan female, the leopard, was in this area not so long ago with her 2 cubs. So maybe there's been some predator activity here, and something's made a kill, and that's what's got the jackals interested. So we're just going to sit around here quietly for now and just see if we can hear anything else or see anything else coming out on the road in this area. Not too many roads here, and as you can see, it's very thick with sicklebush, small shrubs around here, so it's not easy to off-road, but it's the perfect place for a predator to ambush something else. So we'll just wait here and sit quietly and see what else might arrive for us. this. Posted again a bit later. So it was a predator, and it hunted successfully, or even not successfully. Try again a bit later. It's the perfect opportunity for them to hunt. It's going to be really dark tonight. And remember, most animals, especially predators, have a special membrane at the back of their eye called a tapetum lucidum, which helps them to see very well in this very dark night. Perfect for hunting.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Djuma again. This is how we're going to be operating. Just looking around for any possible of the cats around here. So the day here in Lawfield, Malanga, Djuma Game Reserve, it's been pretty cloudy, so it wasn't very much easy for animals to move around too much. So we now decided to come back in the area where we saw a lion tracks, but it wasn't that fresh. So probably after the rain, I would suggest maybe it was around 4 o'clock or so, early this morning. But you could tell that it's just after the rain, you know. So we will be, you know, spending times in this area, looking around, or sometimes stop and listen for any audio from them, because it's getting it. Now it's a time where they would either communicate just before they move, if they ever separated during the day, you know. So this is how we're going to be doing. But, you know, beautiful weather for us, indeed, but not very good for a game viewer. As you saw last time, we're going to have to go down to that river, you know, trying to look around for the elephants, and then eventually we find them. So this is how you know exactly, even the big animals like an elephant, rhino, and a giraffe. So Jam, want to know which one is my favorite leopard between, you know, Tingane, Tandi, and all of those. So Tandish is my favorite, a leopard. Since she's a, you know, she's a good mother for sure. The way she takes care of her cubs, look after them, which I've seen many of the leopards that in the area. When they don't learn too much from their mother how to survive or how to take care of their cubs, this has come from their mother, and then they won't do exactly what they're told from their mother anyway. So we've seen Tandi, of course, trying hard in this area, breeding, you know. So for that, I'm sure it's because of her mother, Karula, because I also met her around here during that time when she was still alive. So even in the last week that she went disappeared, not showed back again to us, left 2 cubs which they were running around in a twin dam area, and it just grew up, and one disappeared, one still alive somewhere else. So this is where I believe she learned from. So as a female leopard, it's so important for them to learn how to keep their babies safe from danger, because dangerous, it could be the same species of the same animal. When it comes to a leopard, a cat, everybody else gene pool, the males. So it's a lot of a killing. It's a kind of a politics that happens to human. We think we're the one, but of course, some animals, they do the same. So that it tells us that we as a human being, we're really fortunate to have these kind of animals in the area, and also study them, able to know their background a little bit. You won't know too much, but you will know which animal is which every time you come across them, and that makes a lot of difference. If you stick long enough in the same area, like I did for the past years, this is how now I'm kind of telling this, which is witness. I saw that happen. I saw Karula grow up, and actually saw her mother, Karula's mother, which was a safari, the blonde, beautiful eye female. So, of course, anyway, leopards' lifespan are limited. So we keep lost them. It's because of their age. When the age rise and they get over the age. So they die of age and sometimes die from fighting. So this is how we lost our leopards out here. But yeah, of course, Tandish is my favorite leopard. Indeed.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, it just goes to show how long Andrew's been in the area for. If he's watched both Safari and Karula, legends of the area and legends of Safari Live, aren't they? I think I met Karula back when I was here on a first interview, and she had, I think, 2 boys at the time. I can't remember. I can't remember, but Andrew's been around. So everybody, we've been trying to see if we can get you a last-minute leopard. It won't be Karula or Safari, but it could be Tlalamba, or it could be Tingana. Jennifer, well, there's no news on Tingana since Trishala saw him at Buffelshoek Dam when her and I were both here last month. That's the last time anyone's seen him. This evening, for those of you who heard about quarantine and made old photos of quarantine being in Skukuza, quarantine was found this afternoon on Buffelshoek. So he's around. Definitely were old photos of him. He hasn't gone to Tingana, as we really don't know. Really not too sure. But he'll turn up. He just does, just when you expect him to turn up again. Haven't had a male leopard track I haven't seen a male leopard track on the property since I've been back. So, don't know what's going on. Don't even know where Mawati is. If he's around, he's not walking anywhere. I think he's decided he's going to be catching an Uber everywhere, because there's only vehicle tracks, no male leopard tracks. Maybe he got his license. I only jest, everybody. Possible for a leopard to drive, surely. Deanna, Kachava was seen yesterday afternoon or morning, one of the two. I was off yesterday afternoon, so yesterday morning Kachava was found on Torchwood, on the eastern side of Torchwood. I didn't physically see her, but I heard the update. So yes, she's around, and I haven't seen Kachava in some time now. The cub's a little bit older than Sandy's cub. So Sibuyi with cubs, Tani with cub, Kachava with cubs. There's quite a... And Kanyeni is with the cub as well. So there's lots of new leopards on the scene. And a seemingly absence of males, which is quite strange. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so our idea at Last Minute Leopard is to go past... Oh, there's an owl. Can you see it directly in front of us on the tree? Right, we might need to go to infrared when you go through. There we go. Can you see it directly in front of us? Up. There we go. Okay, into infrared we go. Wonderful night sounds of the fiery neck nightjar. And it appears to be a spotted eagle owl. Oh, I can't tell. Might be a Varose. Quite an ominous sort of sight, isn't it? Seeing an owl with a very grey sky behind. It looks like a Varose eagle owl. It's looking in the opposite direction. It looks too big to be spotted, and the ear tufts seem a little bit big. But our idea was to find a last-minute leopard at Gallagher Pan, and instead we found an eagle owl, a nocturnal predator, perched precariously on the end of that stalk. It has been wonderful having you all with us this afternoon, everybody. Don't forget, we will be live again with you in the morning from all of our wonderful locations. We do really appreciate all the questions and comments. It's been wonderful once again being out, and hopefully the sun will shine tomorrow, because it's been quite an uncomfortable day. But spring has arrived, and it's early this year, and we are very excited to start looking at the spring signs. And we thank you once again from our side. Until tomorrow morning, good night and goodbye.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.